Hello friends, yesterday I went to my local coffee shop. It was busy afternoon. I got my coffee and tried to find a free table to sit. And when I found a free table, I sat down, I got my book out of my backpack, and the person who was sitting at the table next to mine noticed that the book that I'm reading is quite thick. It's 1,000 page long. It is complete essays of Michel de Montaigne, and he made a kind of a jokingly a comment saying, "Oh, that's a long book," and I replied also jokingly saying that you get a better value for your money if you buy long books. We both laughed, but then he made a comment that I really wanted to share with you guys on this channel and kind of discuss it. And he made a comment saying, "Oh, I perhaps should read more books because I haven't read a single book for at least 1 year or maybe 2. We both went back after that conversation. We both went back to what we were planning to do. He continued working on his laptop. I tried to read my book, but there were so many thoughts that comment triggered in my mind. I was shocked because ever since I was 14, I read books continuously. For the past 18 years, I read a book, I finished it, and opened a new one. And I think the longest break that I had between the books was 5 or 6 days. It wasn't longer than that. I'm saying this not to brag about how much I read, but because for me, someone saying that they haven't read a book over the past year sounds similar to someone saying that they haven't watched a single film for the past year, or they haven't heard a single song over the past year. It is something that is so integral to our lives that it's impossible to imagine. And then I tried to remember what was it that triggered my passion for reading. Why did I suddenly at the age of 14 started reading and continued to do that for the next 18 years. When I was at school, and I went to school in Moscow, our teachers, our literature teachers were really great, and the school program was really good. The selection of the literature that we were supposed to read included Dostoevsky, Pushkin, Tolstoy, all those giants of literature, and I always wondered, why did they try to teach us such a difficult literature? Because when you are 12 and reading Dostoevsky's Crime and Punishment, I think is quite a heavy read. I do understand what the Russian school program was trying to do. They were trying to imbibe in us the taste for good literature. And it didn't really matter whether we understood it or not, but like getting the taste of what good literature, good books actually feel and sound like is really important. But everything has its side effects, and the side effect of the school was that teachers were selecting books for you, and they were selecting books that didn't resonate with you, with what you were going through, what answers you were looking for. And when we graduate from school, there are no teachers to select books for us, and the selection that we were given by the teachers taught us that books are something that don't provide answers. You know, when you are 12 years old and the teacher gives you to read Crime and Punishment by Dostoevsky, you start to ask, how does it resonate with my life? And as I was sitting in that coffee shop, sipping my coffee, pretending that I'm reading the book that I brought with me, but instead what I was doing, I was just staring at the pages, because I was trying to answer myself, what was it that triggered my curiosity and what triggered that passion of mine of reading books continuously for 18 years. The moment that triggered all this passion came from realization that we don't need teachers to select books for us, because books are not just those inanimate things, not the printed words on the pages. Books are condensed conversations that you can have with great humans that lived before you were alive. If you're interested, let's say, what is art? What is art good for? If you try to answer all those questions, you can of course go and Google it and get surface level answers to them, but instead you can sit down with Leo Tolstoy and read what is art, read his thoughts of what he thought art is. This is the reason why I also constantly talk about journaling, is because reading books is a dialogue that you have with people such as Tolstoy. When you sit down and you hear a great idea that Tolstoy writes in a book like this, then you can have a conversation with him by sitting down and writing down that idea, your thoughts, your contribution to what he thought. If I could give advice, if somebody asked me for advice of how to read more, I would say treat it as conversations, the same conversations that you can have with a friend, but like this one is definitely with an intelligent friend such as Tolstoy. And it doesn't have to be Tolstoy, it can be Voltaire, who had philosophical essays. It can be Cicero here, who writes about life and death. It can be Confucius, who wrote his Analects and he gives advice on how to live. It can be Nietzsche, who talks about beyond good and evil. And I think one of the best things that a teacher can do is not to point out at books that one should read, but to teach you how to find answers to the questions that you're looking for in books. This is actually just all I wanted to say. I know that this is not a kind of a in-depth video full of facts, but that small incident triggered so many thoughts in me, and I really wanted to share it on this channel. I hope I didn't waste your time. If you liked this video, leave a comment down below whether you're reading, whether you're planning to read, whether you've been reading continuously. I would be really excited to hear from you. You can check my latest video where I talk about Karl Ove Knausgaard and his tips on writing. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.